We'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Natisha Nat with Nexus Louisiana. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We're excited to kick off Dev Days, our very first competition of the 2026 season. I would like to introduce you to our President and CEO, Tony Zanders, as well as our additional team members, Kendrick Aldrich, who is our Director of Founder Development, and London Jackson, who's our Marketing Manager. Tony, take it over.
Thank you, Natisha, and thanks everyone for joining us on this lovely Friday afternoon. As Natisha mentioned, we're just beginning our 2026 programming season with an event that we started last year in an attempt to partner with key industry leaders to understand what problems need to be solved using technology. Last year, we worked on two particular industries and with two partners that I'll walk through in a moment, focused on the healthcare sector, along with carbon management in the clean tech and climate tech sector. And this year, we wanted to expand that programming to work with a new partner in the Water Institute to solve one of Louisiana's biggest challenges, which is coastal erosion. And so before we get into the details of this Dev Day, I do want to begin with just a quick background on Nexus for those who aren't familiar with us and our work. And so Nexus is a 32-year-old organization headquartered in the state capital here in Baton Rouge, dedicated to incubating new technology. This was formed by a statute written almost 30 years ago, where legislators wanted to create a new organization that would be a nexus for higher education, industry leaders, and local government. And back then, the organization was focused on developing large research parks, which is why we're located where we are today. Currently, our headquarters and our campus is a 44,000 square foot campus here in Baton Rouge, where we do all of our programming. We incubate new companies that are getting started, and we host events like Dev Days and others. One of the new programs that we're running again is this 10-week challenge model that we're calling Dev Days. And the requirement is that the teams that participate build something that is demonstrable. Some would call it a prototype, others would call it an MVP of an app. We've had software prototypes come through this competition. We've had hardware prototypes as well. But this is much different from a pitch competition where you only need a PowerPoint or a presentation in order to compete. This is for engineering teams, computer science majors, and others with technical skills to solve these challenges coming from industry. You can go to our social media channels along with our website to see more about these competitions in the past. So this March, we're excited to kick off this 2026 season in partnership with the Water Institute, which is a separate organization that has a statewide footprint to help understand the impact of water on the state. And they've been collecting data for probably about 15 years, over close to 20 years, on different ways that water migrates throughout the state. They have about 100 software developers at that organization, and they're looking for new ways of interpreting the data they've been collecting through some of the projects they've managed around collecting aerial images of our coastline. And I believe the number that was told to us is over 400,000 images that they've collected that are large files, and they've created a pretty big data set from those images that they're going to make available to the public, but also participants of Dev Days. Now, These images have a lot of rich insight that has yet to be discovered, that can help prove different potential solutions to solving coastal erosion. For those who haven't followed the coastal erosion problem in Louisiana, we lose about a football field's worth of land every hour. And that's been the case for several years. And so the digital habitat monitoring project that is this current challenge is really about how can we use new technologies like AI to analyze all of this data coming from these images to surface new types of insights that could lead to new solutions being created to prevent coastal erosion. It could also help inform policymakers who need a better understanding of the challenge. Um, One of the milestones and mile markers that they've used in the past is looking at migratory bird patterns. And some of the expertise you'll be exposed to and able to leverage during the competition is by working with the Water Institute's experts around avian migration patterns. However, the images include a lot more than birds, right? They include other types of patterns that you can potentially see to come up with new ways to understand the erosion problem. And so last week, we went to their campus here in Baton Rouge and spent time with some directors who have been leading this work over the past decade. And we'll be releasing that video interview where they're describing the challenge more at hand, I believe next week. And so once that footage is published, that'll be a great way for you to hear directly from the Water Institute themselves as you get started on the challenge. Um, Logistically, the competition this year is growing. Instead of only awarding $5,000 cash prize to the top application that's built, we're increasing the prize money to a total of $10,000 spread across first, second, and third place winners. Also, logistically, the competition will take place here in Baton Rouge at Nexus headquarters. And the finalists will be brought down to Baton Rouge that day to demonstrate the applications and prototypes you've built to a panel of experts, not only from the Water Institute, but others as well, including the state's Department of Wildlife and Fisheries. That evening will conclude with a happy hour and networking event where you'll also be able to meet other companies from the industry, uh, investors who may want to have you take this application and turn it into a technology startup, um, but also folks who can offer internships or job opportunities for those looking for their next step after graduation, in case you're a senior or a junior. And so it's a great event, even if you don't take home the cash prize, for a variety of stakeholders in Louisiana to showcase your skills to. Um, we also have folks attending that don't participate in the competition, but they come just for that networking event as well. So that opportunity exists as well. So I'll pause for a moment to see what questions we have or feedback around the competition itself, the challenge this year, or how you can get started. And so if folks want to unmute, you can feel free to pop questions to myself or Kendrick or Natisha or London.
Uh, Hello. I have a question for the data set. The main thing I have a question about is, are you guys expecting a software solution or a research report kind of stuff? Because for migratory patterns, it can be tackled in two ways, whether we can just explore the data and give a report style stuff, or a software tool? Like what on that spectrum, where do you expect projects to be on?
Yeah, on that, thanks for the question. And for those who didn't catch it, the question was around whether the expected output of your project be a research paper or another contribution to the scholarly literature on this, or a software application that can be utilized by a variety of stakeholders. And the answer is the latter. The Water Institute and the judges will be looking for um, applications that leverage the data to surface new types of insights for people who don't understand technology, right? So you have a variety of stakeholders who need to better understand this data, but they aren't technical enough to run queries, or they don't know SQL, they don't know Python or R. And however, they need the insights to make better decisions, either for their business or, again, maybe policymakers. Um, Other researchers who aren't technical at universities could better leverage this data. And the audience for this, by the way, is not just Louisiana stakeholders. There's a global need for people dealing with coastal erosion to better understand um, all of the hundreds of thousands of images that have been collected over the past 15 years. For example, prior to moving back home to Louisiana, I lived in Boston. And the Cape Cod region in Boston is also struggling with losing land every year. And there's economic implications to that on people who are relying on the Gulf or the ocean for food and for their businesses. There's major industry implications as well. And so you're getting access to the images and the data, but what you decide to create for which audience, I think that's where your creativity and innovation will come to mind. Again, the Water Institute has close to 100 software developers and data scientists who are working on specific projects already with the data. Um, but that's not to say that they are able to gather all the insights that you are when you come with your perspective and your background and your lens. And so their hope is that you can bring your unique experiences to making additional uses out of this data that they haven't discovered yet. And the data is now already available. I'll share my screen here if I could get permission from Natisha. Great. So if you come to nexusla.org and under programs, click on DevDays, you can scroll down to the current challenge. You can click on Get Started, and you can read the prompt here, which I've already walked through. But if you click on Industry Data and Insights, there's a few different key resources that you'll have access to begin designing your solution. Namely a Gulf-wide avian monitoring and restoration guidance guide. That's probably step one, is where I'd begin. And then you have this monitoring portal that's made open source, and you're able to access a number of tools to get better insight into the data. I think the big opportunity is to leverage AI here, and I'm curious what types of solutions that you would come up with, and they are as well. Other questions? So we mentioned March 20th is the um, actual competition at Nexus headquarters. these always take place on a Friday. Um, the deadline, though, to apply and submit your draft prototype, um, just the first draft of it is February 8th. You'll get additional time to continue developing. Many of our finalists last year, they were creating future versions and additional versions of their prototype all the way up until the morning of the event. And so this will be locally hosted on your machine. You don't have to have this be production ready code. You just need to be able to demonstrate this live, basically by 1 p.m. Uh, Friday, March 20th. But that first version, in order to be considered as a finalist, the deadline for that is February 8th at midnight.
I have a question.
Yes,
Are there any restrictions on being a team member, the size, or who can be a team member?
good question. No, so Natisha could speak to this as well, but I recall last fall we had teams as small as one person, as large as
Four.
four. So four is our limit.
Four is the max, yes.
That that's the answer to the question.
And one can be a student, a faculty member, or a non-student, anybody?
No, that's a separate good question. So this is a competition for students who are currently enrolled at the institution. I believe we're still requiring a faculty sponsor
Okay,
um, to to sort of
guide, a mentor,
support the team.
but they have to be enrolled as a student. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, great questions. Other feedback areas of that we could clarify further,
I have one more question now.
please.
Are we limited to just using this data set, or can we use combinations of other publicly available data sets?
Great question, and the answer is yes. I think the best teams will most likely leverage this initial data, but go further beyond to do additional research and identify other either open source code bases and other data sets to make even a richer solution. I think the more you can show the Water Institute and the judges things that they didn't even realize themselves or that they're not aware of themselves, I think the novelty will be a pretty big criteria to not only become a finalist but win as well. I would consider the data sets they've shared as just a starting point, so that you're not starting from scratch and you're at least kind of headed in the right direction. Mhm.
Okay, so I have one more question. Sorry.
Oh no,
So,
don't apologize. This is
okay.
this is
So,
for you. Yeah.
okay, thank you. So the judgment rubric, the rubric is on the novelty or to solve a problem. So is it like probably solve the problem, or is it also on how novel or some another application beyond or the scope? So do we know the rubric in advance in terms of points for judgment?
We do. There's four criteria. Natisha, do we have it to pull up on a screen share by chance? I can walk through them by memory as well. But
Thank you so much.
so novelty is one of four. Wait, go ahead.
No, no, no.
Just a moment and I'll pull the rubric.
Okay. Yeah, she'll pull up the document, but novelty is one of four criteria. There's I believe 25% dedicated to novelty. Another is the difficulty of development. And so is this something that can be, vibe coded using Lovable, or is it something that took some technical expertise? Um, I think the other two are around the uh, the potential impact it can have. So is this something so niche that it's relevant for like people in Lafayette, Louisiana, but not relevant for the rest of the state? Or is this something that could be used in other countries? So the scale of the impact is a third criteria. And the fourth was So novelty, difficulty, scale of impact, and we're gonna we're gonna find the document that judges receive for the judges rubric and send it. But those are three of the four. There's a fourth criteria as well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I also saw we had a question from Marilyn in the chat on whether you have to be at a specific college or LSU. And this is open to any Louisiana-based college or university. Um, LSU typically participates, but the winners have come from a variety of different colleges. A lot of participation from Northern Louisiana and the I-20 corridor, Tulane, UNO, LSU. Um, we've had folks come from University of Louisiana at Lafayette, and hopefully in the spring, as more people become aware of the competition, even broader participation as well. So just three. That's why I couldn't figure out the fourth.
Thank you.
It's funny. I must be like a visual learner. I remember seeing four rectangles there, but it's three criteria the judges will be using for a total of 75 points. It's also worth noting that if this particular project isn't an area of interest, this is one of three Dev Days that we'll be having in 2026. We'll have one in the second quarter of the year and also the third quarter. Natisha, could you share the programming calendar? We haven't yet announced the industry and focus and partner for the second and third competitions. But we typically host these competitions in industries and areas that most impact Louisiana. So another pretty big industry we most likely will partner with this year is in healthcare, as I mentioned. Um, Other potential industries could be education, construction, um, or other areas of related to the environment as well. Mhm. So June 19th, there'll be a summertime competition as well, and then September 25th uh, to kick off the fall semester as well. And then our largest competition of the year is the Technology Cup. And that'll take place in December. And the reason we host that at the end of the year is for the teams participating in the Dev Days earlier in the year. If you're a finalist and you spent 10 weeks working on a prototype or an app for a Dev Day, and you got some instructive feedback from the judges. If you spent another 6 or 8 months developing that solution, not only would it be more mature, but you'll have time to add additional features or functionality to compete for a larger prize. I believe we're giving a total away of $150,000 in December, and that event is sort of much more well attended by a larger audience. You have, again, investors who are interested in turning these into technology startups as well. And when you want to make that transition from just having a project you worked on to an actual product you commercialize, Nexus has the coaching resources to help you go from again, just a project to a real product that companies and customers can use and buy. Um, and so, if anyone's interested in creating a tech startup, that's additional services that Nexus offers that are available to you. Um, and by participating in a Dev Day or the Technology Cup, you have a strong chance at um, um, leveraging those services from us. Um, Kendrick Ulrich on our team leads up those efforts to help folks go from, um, again, a project to a product. Kendrick, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself and talk about some of your expertise and how you work with teams and founders.
Yes, Tony. Hi, everyone. My name is Kendrick Ulrich. I'm the Director of Founder and Ecosystem Development for Nexus. My role here is to help support all the startups during the Dev Day process and afterwards. So if you want to take your Dev Day product and you want to turn it into a startup, that's where I'll come in and work with you post Dev Day to get you connected to legal resources, accounting, more experts, things that can help you build your startup and have you become a member of our Nexus community. So if you guys have any questions, I'll put my email in the chat. Please feel free to reach out to me anytime if you would like to learn more about the resources that come post Dev Day.
Thank you, Kendrick. And Natisha, it might make sense to talk through some of the other support we give to Dev Day participants, particularly around marketing, storytelling, kind of promoting themselves. I recall us doing professional headshots for the teams and so on and so forth. Any feedback you want to share with folks there?
Sure. So in addition to the coaching that's provided through Kendrick and then also our coaches that offer support following advancing to the finals, we provide videography, photography, and storytelling support throughout the competition. So for those who advance to the finals on the day of the event, you'll come to our headquarters in Baton Rouge. We'll have someone there on site to take your headshot. The goal is, of course, to help elevate and tell your story, your journey from participating in Dev Days and hopefully advancing to our Technology Cup. But it doesn't stop there. Once you participate in one of Nexus events or opportunities, you're part of our community and our larger ecosystem, and we continue to engage with you throughout the year. These stories will be shared on social media and included on our website as well. We share all of that with you. You will gain access to your photos and video content following the competition, typically 1 or 2 weeks after the event. And if you have any questions or you're looking for something in particular, we're there to support you through that as well.
Awesome.
Oh, I would like to add to that. For the winners of Dev Days, what we typically do is partner with the universities on a post-competition press release. And we've noticed that in the past, the universities pick it up and that content or those articles are also shared with their local media. So it's an opportunity to gain additional spotlight at your university, but also in your local community as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Natisha. I want to wrap up if there are no further questions. And if there are, please type them into the chat. You can also follow up with Kendrick. He provided his email address there. I want to wrap up with a video testimonial from one of our more recent community members from University of Louisiana at Monroe, where he shares his experience having participated in both the Technology Cup and a Dev Day. So hope that I don't face any technical difficulties with sharing this, but bear with me one moment and we'll try to get you to hear directly from someone who's gone through these competitions. Share. Could y'all give me a thumbs up if the sound comes through fine?
Hey, my name is Cecil. I'm a computer science sophomore major at ULM. I'm also from Nepal, and I'm from the team Carbon Horizon.
The volume cut out, Tony.
Seemed daunting because we didn't know much about climate tech or carbon capture or anything else. We were computer science students. It wasn't really our field, but we took on this challenge, and I'm really proud of myself, my team, and everyone else who supported us. I was here during the Nexus Cup last summer, and I didn't win, but I had a fire inside me. I was like, I want to win. I love this competition. It was like sports. I felt like an athlete, but not really, not a sport, but for tech. And I felt the fire inside me to come back. And ever since I heard about DevDays, I was like, I need to do this. We need to come back here. Already gearing up for the next Nexus Cup too. And so coming out here for the DevDays, this not that this is just a practice, this is a legitimate competition. It boosted our skills of research, like development and public speaking too. It really helps us like hone the skills for the even bigger competition. If I had to describe DevDays in 3 words, I would have said raw skills tested.
Awesome. Well, we're just 4 minutes past the half of the hour. I saw we have a couple other questions. Any other final questions or feedback before we let you go for the weekend? Well, awesome. Thanks for joining us today. We hope to hear from you by February 8th. Please share the word with different classes you're participating in or other networking groups that you're part of. If you don't have someone on your team yet and you're looking for sort of teammates, this is a good time to kind of share more information with folks. Most of the teams that won and were finalists did have multiple people working on this. I think of the 20 finalists we saw last year, maybe 1 or 2 are solo teams with one person. So it's very much so you can move further together competition. So great. We look forward to hearing from you and hope you have a great rest of your start for 2026. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.